This is a cheap e-mountain bike at about 4,700 euro. Yeah, that's what they call cheap. And this is a cheaper mountain bike, e-bike. Well, what is it? I'm not really sure what it is, but it's definitely a cheap electric bike at 1,100 euro. This is a Raymon Trail Ray 170. Got 170 mils of travel on the front and rear. It's a cheaper enduro electric bike. It comes with a Yamaha PWX3 motor, 700 watt-hour battery, basic quality but cheaper electric mountain bike for enduro. Geometry is really good, I have to say. Frame is actually really good quality. You know, you can tell that it's not a high-end aluminium frame. The main thing about this bike that keeps that price down are the components. So we've got slightly cheaper wheels, slightly cheaper suspension. The suspension works quite well because it just feels a little bit hard and like not as soft and as supple on the sort of small hits. However, it is fun to ride. And the channel is sponsored by Liat. Some of you have asked me what's the difference between the 6.5 neck brace and the 3.5. I've got a 3.5 here. Slightly heavier materials, but it does the same job. Definitely worth considering if you can't stretch to the 6.5. Back to the video. With this motor, you get about 600 watts of peak power, 250 watts nominal. Doesn't really put out any more than that. Now, if I want to modify it, I need to go online, I need to buy a kit which will allow me to unlock the speed. And that, if I buy that kit, it'll cost me about 150, 200 euro, you might need an app. So it's actually quite hard work to get anything more out of this bike when riding. This is a Yamaha, as you can see. You can't unlock them. You can only hope to unlock the speed if you're in the right conditions. So you can get a speed kit and you can basically, with around 200 euros, you can unlock these so they will ride faster than 25 kilometers an hour. But you shouldn't do that in Europe if you're riding on trails or if you're riding not in a particular environment. You should be in the right environment to use that unlocked. So you can also do FIM racing if you want. This is obviously not a mountain bike. It kind of looks like an aggressive urban bike. It's got suspension on the front, it's got a double crown fork on it, a rear shock on the back. Inside this rear shock, it looks like an air shock, but it's not. It's got a coil in it. Let's call this, it's not an MTB. But it's cheap. It's 1,100 euro. It comes with a 624 watt-hour battery. Now we've got the motor on the rear. Now this is where it gets a little bit confusing. I'm not sure if it's a 750 watt-hour motor, which is what it says in the manual, or if you go on the website, it says it's 1,000 watts. Point is this bike has more power than this bike in the specifications, which is a bit strange considering it costs only 1,000 euro. Right, but if we look at this bike here, there's a sticker on it which shows that it is an e-pack according to EN 15194. 250 watt legal limit bike that allows you to go 25 kilometers an hour with pedaling. It doesn't have a torque sensor, so when you pedal it, basically measures the cadence. So you can ride along with no pressure on the pedals and the bike just whisks you along at 25 kilometers an hour without pretty much any ability to control the power of the bike. You can change it on the display here. There's a plus and minus. So if I turn it on, you have 5 power modes. I'm not particularly impressed with the power control on it. It's kind of more on or off. However, there is something else on this bike which makes me start going, what's going on here? It's an accelerator. And if you look, it operates a little bit too easily actually. It goes slow and it allows the walk mode to move forward. It might not be respecting the regulations properly because normally you need to have a 2-stage operation to get the walk mode to work, and that is not a 2-stage. Right now this bike is 250 watts, it goes 25 kilometers an hour. But if I press and hold these 2 buttons under here, and you can find out how to do this on the internet really easily. So if I switch it to P3 mode, now I press and hold for 15 seconds, the plus button, 15 seconds. Look, it just switched and it said 63 on the display. Now I press and hold that and it's off. Now this bike is unlocked. It took 15 seconds. I didn't need to buy a speed kit. I didn't need to do anything. I just unlocked it. Certainly where I live, you see loads of food delivery, loads of people with these bikes whizzing around. Now, in Europe, this is now classed as not an e-bike anymore. This would be classed as an L1E, which would be a speed pedelec, which means you need indicators and a number plate. So this has got lights, a brake light that activates. It hasn't got indicators, it doesn't have a number plate, and I don't have any documentation. But it was that easy to unlock that that's probably against the regulations that makes me think, And I'm gonna go and demonstrate that now, that you can go 45 kilometers an hour with this thing. So let's go and do 45 kilometers an hour with this, but I've got to find somewhere to do it. So here we are on a private road, as you can see, nice and straight and flat. So here I can show you the power differences between these two bikes. I'm going to take the Raymon and try and pedal as fast as I can. We'll see how quickly I can go. Right, a little bit of leg pressure in. I can get to about 27. This is a heavy bike. Ooh, there we go, we managed about 27. Pushing pretty hard, I managed 27. Probably the motor was peaking at about 550, 600 watts, which is about the maximum. I was using my leg power as well, so giving it another 400 watts after that, so the whole thing was going about 800 watts maybe. And I managed 27 kilometers an hour. So now this thing is a whole other world. First of all, we got the accelerator. So the pedals only start pushing the bike along once they've done one full rotation, because you've got a cadence sensor only, no torque sensor. So I can push, and there's no push, and then it starts. Right, let's put it in max power, power mode 5. I've got the accelerator, now watch this. So this would legally, in America, this would be called a class 2 e-bike. So in Europe, these things are not allowed, because watch. Right, I'm at 31 kilometers an hour, 35. Wow. That's powerful. Okay, so I'm coming back. I'll give it a bit of pedal stroke as well. 25, 28. Oh, with no effort, I'm at 28. Right, I'm at 30 kilometers an hour already. Whoa! That is quite interesting. So just to show you that the accelerator works. Woo! Right, you can't do that with a legal e-pack bike in Europe. Unless it's a motorbike and you need insurance, lights, and all of that malarkey. This is clearly putting out, as you can see as I went by, this is clearly putting out, it's a cheaper bike and it's clearly putting out 750, 1,000 watts, I don't know. Probably out of the battery, that is. So I don't know what the actual power is at the wheel, but I assume it's probably quite high. So here's the question then. This is €1,000, this is almost 5. So that's 5 times more expensive than that. And this one's got more power and more speed. But legally, this is illegal in this modification. Even the ability to unlock it is kind of basically illegal against the regulations. And this thing is legal. Why is it so easy to get hold of these cheap bikes and be able to unlock them so easily and go fast enough that you should be having the number plates and all of that? Because clearly more than 25 kilometers an hour is definitely getting into sketchy speed territory for the average user, I'm absolutely sure. But there's no doubt, this thing has more power and a faster bike, and it costs only €1,000. Right, I'll leave it there. I've got some interesting videos coming next week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.